It is Tara, and right now I've got Geno joining me in the studio. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Well, we've been having some fun, really, lately, because there's been less movie reviews to get. We've been talking about different topics, whether it be best movie soundtracks or favorite holiday movies, and we're going to do that again today. Is there anything, though, we need to cover in terms of what people might want to check out that's going to be out in the theaters?
Yeah, Manchester by the Sea is a good one to check out. It's kind of a depressing movie, but it's really good. Those looking forward to Assassin's Creed, it's okay. Fences is coming out on Christmas. I'm really looking forward to that one.
All right, fantastic. So that's kind of a recap for you. But we want to talk about guilty pleasures movies. And, so I think for me, I've got several that I would say fit into this category. And but I'm going to let you start first.
Okay, my first is directed by Ron Howard and written by George Lucas when George Lucas was doing good stuff. It's 1988's Willow. This is kind of I don't know if you want to call it the poor man's fantasy film, but this has a lot of great things in it, and it's such a fun movie. There's great action. It's about magic. It's funny. And what I really like about it is, like Lord of the Rings, they used regular-size actors to play smaller characters. Well, this movie employed tons of little people, including Warwick Davis, who really was stuck behind a lot of costumes and things like that. Say in the Star Wars movies, he's Wicket and a few other characters in the Star Wars films. Also, it's one of my favorite Val Kilmer performances is Mad Mardigan. He's kind of the snarky swordsman who kind of becomes the hero. And also, a fun note, this is one of two movies that has the actor Billy Barty in it on my list.
All right. So I think that that's a good one for sure. My first guilty pleasure movie, I would say, and this is just people who know me are going to think this is way out in left field, the movie Spaceballs. For me, I know it's a horrible movie. I know this.
It is not a horrible movie.
I know this. It really actually is a horrible movie. But it's because of when I would watch it repeatedly, the time in my life, I think as a child, when I couldn't even understand a lot of the humor. But I remember loving that movie as a kid. And now as an adult, I still have to admit it. It is a guilty pleasure.
Oh, yeah. That one's like Ghostbusters, where I saw that as a kid, and I don't get half the jokes. And then when you grow up, you get the other half of the jokes, and it makes it even better. I love Spaceballs, so there is nothing wrong with having that on that list.
All right. Tell us your second one.
My number 2 is Bloodsport, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme from 1988.
Yes.
This movie is it takes itself so seriously, but it's so silly, and it's got the cheesy 80s soundtrack. It's this martial arts tournament that has all these colorful characters from different countries and things like that. It is based on a true story, though there is debates on if this guy is really telling the truth. His name's Frank Dukes. But anyway, I love this movie. It's the first movie I really saw Van Damme in. And of course, now I'll watch anything with him in it because of this movie.
I actually really love that movie.
It's great.
We've obviously share the same guilty pleasures tastes. All right, my number 2 would be Legally Blonde.
Oh,
and
that's a good one.
I love it. I love it, and I never outgrow it. I don't know why. It's just so good to me.
Reese Witherspoon is great, and I'm a fan of hers.
Yes.
And that is her at the height of her stupidity, quote unquote.
Yes.
She pulled off that role so well because she's such an intelligent actress and such a well-spoken actress and so really good. And then all of a sudden she's playing this smart, dumb person. And, I really like that movie too.
Yeah, it is fantastic. All right. And your third one?
Okay. As a guy that works in television, my number 1 is 1989's UHF. You probably knew this one was coming. That's Weird Al Yankovic's movie. He's the lead actor and he does a ton of the soundtrack. This movie has a ton of people in it. Victoria Jackson, the late Kevin McCarthy, Michael Richards before he was kind of the we don't want to hire him anymore guy, Fran Dresser. And also, it's the second movie on my list that has actor Billy Barty as Noodles McIntosh. This movie is just so dumb, has so many dumb parodies, the Rambo parody, Conan the Librarian, Spatula City. I can name them all.
About some of this
yes,
stuff.
And if I'm ever in a bad mood, I can turn this movie on and it will put a smile on my face no matter how bad of a day I'm having.
All right. Well, my third choice was Napoleon Dynamite, and it's one of those movies that I don't think I could ever get sick of it. I mean, I have probably seen this movie 20 times, and I could sit down and watch it again, start to finish today. I never get tired of watching the awkwardness that is this movie. Every character is awkward. Every person says awkward things, and yet I enjoy living in that for the 2 hours that I watch it.
You know, I watched that movie, and the first time I watched it, there was things in that movie I noticed about myself because it's that small town kind of feeling movie. From throwing the action figure attached to a string on a bus, I've done it. The moon boots, I had them. Can't say I had a Vote for Pedro t-shirt, but just a lot of that movie, I knew kids that would put food in their pocket and things like that. That movie is so great. Now, that is either a half and half movie. You either love that movie because you understand it and kind of maybe lived it, or you hate that movie.
Yeah.
And I'm on the love camp.
Yep.
And I was even disappointed when they canceled the cartoon. And I didn't want to see a sequel to that movie, but that movie by itself, great movie, great pick.
Just so good. All right. Well, this was fun for sure, reminiscing a little bit about some of those guilty pleasures movies. We all have them. That's just something we know, and everybody's tastes are a little bit different. Look forward to having you back in the studio next week.
Thanks for having me.